Back to the Man2Man podcast, episode 9. I'm your host, Jackson Chapman, alongside my co-host,
Carson Chapman.
And Carson, our girlfriends will rejoice. We are not talking about sports this episode.
That's right. For the audience that does not enjoy sports talk, this is the episode for you.
Exactly,
And it's a Thanksgiving edition of the Man2Man podcast. Happy Thanksgiving,
Happy
everybody.
Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a great holiday. Kind of get to with the family. Just celebrate how thankful you are to
watch lots of football,
eat food, just hang out with the company. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody. This will probably be out after Thanksgiving, so you have already enjoyed all your Thanksgiving festivities. This will probably come out on Black Friday, so stay safe while shopping at Black Friday. I don't know why I couldn't say that, but we'll power through. Carson, your girlfriend Emily mentioned that
my fiance. Thank you very much.
Sorry, I forgot. Your fiance Emily mentioned how she had blackballed the Man2Man podcast because all we do is talk about sports. So make sure that she listens to this podcast.
Right. She says she's going to be tuned in. I told her the topic, so she'll be listening intently. Normally, she says when we start talking about sports, she just tunes out because we're speaking a different language.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping we can relate to more of our audience today.
Yeah. So we're going back to tourney time. It's been a couple weeks. I'm excited for it, and it's a fun tourney time. Today's tourney time is the most annoying things in the world. Me and Carson, we looked at a list, but also we kind of just compiled a list of things that annoyed us, and we're gonna go through the bracket like we used to.
So these are things that can just get on your nerves, might be annoying. There's always those little things that happen in life to where they're just an inconvenience.
Yeah,
and so these aren't maybe the biggest deals in the world, but we tried to rank them accordingly.
Yeah, a lot of these are first world problems, stuff that we shouldn't be annoyed with, but we're going with it because as we were going through this, we're like, man, that annoys the crap out of me. So here we go. First seed, long drive-through versus the 16 seed. You don't have enough cash.
Yeah, you're checking out, and somebody says it's cash only, not card.
So,
and if you're anything like me, I never carry cash.
I never carry cash. I had to carry cash because one of the things I had to do for the high school was I had to pay for cash only, so I had to go to the bank and get cash deposit. But I don't think that's enough to outweigh how annoying a long drive-through is, waiting for food. When I think of this, I think of cookout and how long it takes cookout to get your food. For food that's mid, I'll say it on the Man2Man podcast, cookout is mid.
They need to go over to Culver's and take some notes there because Culver's makes everything fresh. And there we are giving a Culver's plug again, but still, there's no reason that cookout drive-thru should be as packed as it is.
You're exactly right. So that's a no-brainer. One-seated, a long drive-thru advances for me.
Yeah, so when I'm thinking about a long drive-thru, I don't know if this relates to anybody else, but when I'm hungry, I'm all about efficiency. Yeah. I've never been one to plan out my meals well in advance and take an hour to an hour and a half cooking. That's just not me. I'm all about efficiency. I'm all about getting it done quickly, cooking multiple things at once. And to me, a long drive-thru is just an inconvenience.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
When you are looking for something in that moment to satisfy your hunger and you know that you're going to have to sit through a long drive-thru, it's just not something. I was coming home yesterday and saw that McDonald's and Cookout were both really long lines, so I just went home.
Yeah,
and
that's the most annoying thing is when
you have your heart set
on a fast food place. You're like, okay, I'll be quick and then I'll go home, and you strike out.
It's so disappointing.
It's so disappointing to be like, God, I'll eat at home. I'll save some money, but it's so annoying going to that place realizing it's too long of a line. That's why it's a one seed. We're getting fired up about the first matchup here. So we're both going long drive-thru.
It defeats the name. Fast food.
Yeah.
Yet I'm going to have to sit, 15, 20 minutes in a drive-thru. It's just not what I signed up for.
You're exactly right. All right, so we got the 9-seeded slow drivers versus the 8-seed smacking food. Now, we know that smacking food is probably top tier.
I would think if you polled 75, if you polled 100 people, probably 75% would say smacking food is top 3 issue for them. It's never been that way for me.
Same here. I don't know what it is. People are just enjoying their meal, and if they're smacking their food because it's that good, it's bussin', as the kids would say, it really is not an issue with me.
Maybe I don't have time to pay attention to
because I'm
food.
eating my food.
Because I'm eating so fast.
Exactly.
Most of the time, I'm being told to slow down when I'm eating, as opposed to stop smacking.
The Chapman men are known to eating fast, and when we get our food, we don't mess around. We're there to eat. So I would say slow drivers takes it here. I can't stand getting behind a slow driver. If I can pass them, I'm passing them ASAP.
For me, it was always, I told my parents that I thought I was going to get pulled over for driving too slow before I got pulled over for driving too fast. Thankfully, Lord willing, I have not been pulled over yet. Well, I've been pulled. We'll get to that. I've never received a speeding ticket.
Oh gosh.
I've never received a speeding ticket. But yes, slow drivers annoy me more than I thought it would, because I'm the 5 over to 7 over kind of guy. And so smacking food, like I said, doesn't annoy me too much. So slow driver advances for me.
Yeah, Carson about ratted himself out there. Well, let's hope Mom and Dad don't catch that part.
All right.
There. All right, so next matchup we got number 5 seed talking during a movie, and then the 12 seeded when the banks are closed after you get off a work shift. That's pretty annoying, but as someone who works at a movie theater, I find it very annoying when my boss is in my ear telling me, these people won't shut up, go tell them to shut up.
And you got to be the bad guy.
And I got to be the bad guy. I got to walk, these people could be on the top row. I got to walk all those stairs. Everybody thinks I'm going to be mad at them. Nope, I'm mad at the people who are in the top right corner. Hey guys, please quit talking. Let's just enjoy our movie. We're not here to chit-chat. Yep. And it gets even more annoying when you have to go again because they're talking. That's what.
And do they have a 3-strike rule, or did they get kicked out?
So here at the movie theater, we have, you have your 1 warning, you have your 2nd warning. That 3rd warning is by the boss, whoever the manager is at that shift. And if you get talked to by the manager, you're more than likely getting kicked out. So you give them 2 warnings, and then
2
warnings, and then you're getting talking to the manager. And our managers, they don't like that crap. So see ya.
So it's strike 3. You're out.
Strike 3. You're out. So I, as a movie theater employee, will go talking during a movie.
So I've got some bank experience here. That's why I thought banks being closed at inconvenient times. Everybody always says, "Oh, you've got those banker's hours," and meaning that you go to work after people are already going into work early. So if the bank opens at 8:30 or 9. You're there after they're already at their job, and then we close at 4, and a lot of people don't get off till 5. And so just an inconvenience there, especially if it's on a weekend and you can't get to them. But for me, I feel like I am very guilty of talking during movies. I've told numerous people that I don't like the idea of sitting there in silence for 2 hours. When I'm watching a movie, it's typically with multiple people. I don't watch many movies just by myself. And so the awkward silences of just letting the movie do the talking instead of me trying to have a conversation, that always messes with me. So I'm guilty of talking during a movie, so I'm going to say banks closed wins it for me, 12 over 5.
Classic Carson going 12 over 5 in tourney time. Name a better combination with Carson and picking a 12-5 upset.
Hey, I do what I do best.
Come on now. All right, now we got the 4 seed spam calls / telemarketer calls and 13 seed power going out. I cannot stand spam calls. For some reason, I get so many throughout the day. But as many people know, I like to answer them and
mess with them.
I'll keep them on the line, and I probably sound like a terrible person doing this, but I'm so annoyed with them calling me that sometimes I just
you give them a little bit of hope.
I give them a little hope, and I'm thinking they're like, would you like to extend your warranty on your blah, blah, blah car? I'm like, you know what? I would love to. And then they're like...
You change up accents or anything like that?
Absolutely. Sometimes I'll go with the up north accent. Sometimes I'll go country. And then I will give them the just most false information. I'll tell them I'm 82 years old. I'll tell them I'm from South Dakota. And, I like having fun with that, but it is annoying. Power going out is one of those things that you can't really control. Mm-hmm. So, yes, it's annoying, but it's not one of those things that... isn't just so terribly frustrating that I'm going to be upset with it. Getting 5 spam calls, and especially during a class or something where you have to be quiet, or like church, and your phone is nonstop buzzing, and you're thinking, oh, it's important, someone's calling me.
Do not disturb for, but
I know it is, but I forget to do that. But, someone's calling me? Oh, spam call. So I do like how iPhone now says spam risk. So that is,
I just turned it right off.
That's a good change for iPhone.
So are you taking spam calls?
I'm going spam calls over power going out.
For me, I've never been too inconvenienced by spam calls. Like I said, when Apple made that feature available to where you can see it's a spam risk, I just don't entertain it. Most of the time, I don't even answer if it's not a number that I recognize, unless I see like a Murray area code or an area code that I'm familiar with. For me, this is a major first world problem, but power going out is pretty annoying. I feel like we just shut down. When the power goes out, you can't see anything. You're having to rely on candles for your light, especially if it happens in the winter and you're cold.
You have to interact with your family.
Well, yes, but also it's happening most of the time when like a dangerous event is going on. Well, and so you're already kind of scared, but then you're also having to do something that you're not very used to, which is operating without the electricity on. And so you got to worry about your food and what's in the freezer, what's in the refrigerator. So power going out is a pretty big inconvenience. I'm going to take it here.
All right, so this matchup is a great one. We have the 3-seeded late people over the 14 seed forgetting stuff. And while I'm prone to forgetting stuff, when I say forgetting stuff, I'm thinking I'm at an event and I was told to bring this one thing and I didn't bring that one thing.
And you stick out big time.
And you're annoyed with yourself, but also annoyed that you got to go all the way back to your house and grab this thing. That's annoying. But if there's one thing that I can't stand more than anything, it's people that are late constantly. Shout out Caden Emerson. I love you. You are my best friend. But man, that boy's late all the time. And
for me, it was Jonah.
Why is it both the best friends?
I know, right?
And
it's the ones closest to you that you got to watch out for.
I mean, I cannot stand late people. I'm that guy that will get there 30 minutes early and sit in the car and wait to go to the event that I'm at. Don't even get. You can go. I'm just upset with late people.
Right. So when we thought of late people, it was with the idea that we have agreed, whether it's with one person, whether it's with a group of people, that hey, this event is starting at 6:00. That doesn't mean
get there at 6:00.
That doesn't mean you leave your house
at 6:00.
At 6:00. It means that hey, we are getting together. We're not trying to take everybody's night, because what you do when you're late is
it shifts all the plans.
Everything gets pushed back, and if somebody had to get to something else, then maybe they can't. Maybe they can't stick around. So to me, being on time is something that was always drilled into my head. Being early, I will say, since I've been in college and now in my post-college days, I've gotten a lot better at being 5 minutes early or right on time, as opposed to 15 minutes early like I was in high school.
I'm still 15 to 20 minutes early.
I had McDonald's breakfast opportunities with Jonah all the time in high school, and if we were getting there at 9, I was there at 8:45. I'd be getting a call from Jonah about 9:05. Hey, I'm getting a shower. I mean, my gosh, I'm talking 30 minutes late. Jonah has gotten a lot better about it since he married Katie. But that's my biggest example of people being late.
Yeah, Caden, me and him meet for an accountability partners on Sunday mornings before church. And I'll be getting to this place. We say 9 o'clock every Sunday. I'm getting there at 8:45, text them, hey, I'm here.
I'm big at saying, hey, I'm here. Just letting them know, put a little pressure on them.
And Caden lives out in the country. And when he texts me at 8:58, hey,
I'm leaving.
I'm leaving. That's 15 more minutes I gotta wait.
Right.
And I love you, Caden. You have gotten better, I will say, but it's a pet peeve of mine. Sorry, we
just a little disrespectful. Let's call it what it is. I understand. Like if it's a party, if it's a get together, something like that, nobody wants to be the first person at a party. I get it. That awkward small talk, we all understand. If there's a little bit of an audience, I get it. But if it's like a group of maybe 10 people and it's for, a meal or accountability, like you're saying, hey,
let's get there on time.
Let's be on time.
Sorry,
I don't know if that's too much to ask. Yeah. If you can't tell how we feel, I'm taking late people.
Yes, I'm also going late people. Sorry we went on a little tangent, but that's the one when we were filling out this bracket, I told Carson, I said, nothing grinds
my gears. It's underseeded.
Oh my gosh, it is underseeded. All right, next matchup is also a good one. We have 11 seed waiting for the doctor and the 6 seed know-it-alls. Now, I
know our whole audience, right when we said know-it-alls right there, somebody just popped into everybody's head. Everybody knows that one person that you would consider a know-it-all.
Know-it-alls, they help in some scenarios. But more times than not, it's just annoying.
It's just a flex. You know what I mean? Like, it's just them trying to impose their will. Yeah. Hey, I'm smarter than you.
And more times than not, this might sound rude, your input's not needed. That might sound rude.
If I ask for your opinion, please give it to me.
Exactly. I will go. I will say that I only have a select few friends that are know-it-alls, so I'm kind of blessed in that area. I know a lot of people who know-it-alls are like their biggest pet peeve. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say waiting for a doctor is kind of second on my list of most annoying things. I cannot stand
because you're already sick,
because
right?
I'm sick. I'm feeling awful. I'm coughing up a storm. I got people in the waiting room looking at like this boy's sick. You tell me my appointment's at 10 o'clock and I'm not going to the room until 10:45. That goes along with the late issue, and that ticks me off. So I am going with the 11 seed over the 6 seed, waiting for the doctor.
I think it's a great matchup here. Very, very compelling here. Everybody can understand what's the point in scheduling an appointment if you're not going to see me until an hour later.
Yep.
To me, that's just inconvenient altogether. But know-it-alls for me, if I'm having a conversation with somebody and they just constantly have this other input that is so much better than any idea that I ever could have come up with. It just makes me feel dumb.
Yeah.
I don't like it when I'm made to feel dumb. Maybe I just need to get smarter. My dad always tells me I need to read more books. So maybe if I read more books, hopefully I wouldn't turn into a know-it-all. But maybe I just know things and never put myself in those situations. But know-it-all takes the cake for me.
All right, so the 7-10 matchup is the 7 seed Bad Wi-Fi over the 10 seed Loser the Remote. Now, Carson talked last night that he rarely loses the remote. But
it's down to like a personal problem.
I know people listening to the podcast have issues with losing their remote. I cannot be the only one. I know Christy Chapman loses that remote all the time. Bad Wi-Fi is just one of those things. Now that we have LTE and data, it's not as big of an issue.
I'm talking like you're trying to do something on your computer.
Yes, that is annoying. That's a first world problem. We sound spoiled and rotten, but bad Wi-Fi is annoying. But I
can't believe bad Wi-Fi is more of a problem with you for all the Fortnite games.
When
you're lagging.
When I'm playing video games and I'm lagging, it is annoying. But at the same time,
oh, trust me, me and Jesse can hear you downstairs.
At the same time, it used to mean more to me. Like when I was lagging, I remember when we lived in Alamo, no one could be on the Wi-Fi for me to play Fortnite. Like I had to have
had to block off the whole rest of the day.
Had to block off the rest of the day. And now it's not as big of an issue. Like last night, I was playing Fortnite. Got a little break here playing Fortnite with Evan Garrison, Jared Darnell, and I was lagging, but it didn't really matter to me. I was fake being mad because I was lagging, but it really isn't an issue with me anymore because I don't care as much about Fortnite. But I'm gonna go with losing the remote.
That's a sign of maturity, Jack.
We're 20 years old now.
Something's got to change.
Something's got to change. But back in my day, if I was lagging, I was ticked. But we've grown up a little bit. I'm gonna go losing a remote as an annoying thing because it's an inconvenience. You're ready to watch Netflix, you're ready to watch UK basketball, and you're spending 10 minutes trying to find that remote while, hey, you put it here, you dummy, and you never put it there. So it's more of a self-annoyed thing than just like a general, this is annoying topic. But I get annoyed myself when I lose the remote. So I'm going losing the remote.
What I figured out, Jackson, that it's crazy it works this way, but when you put stuff in the same place every time.
Okay, Mom.
You tend to be able to find it.
Okay, Mom.
And you don't lose it. So like I said, losing remote is not, I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means, but losing a remote hasn't really been that big of an issue in my life up to this point. So I'm going to take bad Wi-Fi here. I'm just having this scenario in my head, like if you're trying to write a paper or trying to get something done real quick and you need to get connected to Wi-Fi and it's just spinning and spinning and spinning and you're not able to get done what you need to do, that can just be a major inconvenience. So I'm going to take bad Wi-Fi.
All right, so now we have the 2-seeded cancel plans over the 15-seed spoilers. Now, this is a big issue as someone who works at the movie theater. Spoilers are something that every movie theater staff will tell you we try so hard to avoid because people will come out of a movie and we got to clean the theater and people are like, have you seen this movie yet? And we're like, no. And then they start telling you the plot of the movie and we just don't want to know. It annoys us and you can...
You get lots of questions from people that are going to watch it for the first time.
Yes, like... If a movie just came out, they think we watched it as soon as it dropped, like at the movie theater. Yeah. They just assume that we have this unknown knowledge about the movie that they don't have. So spoilers are kind of annoying, but I will say cancel plans, especially ones that you had your hopes up for. Those, me and Carson, we had tickets to go watch OKC and Grizzlies during the COVID season of NBA. We were, would you say, first or second row?
Yeah.
We were on the floor, I think you said. And when those got canceled, that's annoying. That's just one of those things that's like, man, I really wanted to do that, and now I can't, and I kind of sound like a little...
And you feel so helpless.
Yeah, like there's nothing you can do.
And like that's a major example, but this could be anything on the canceled plan side. Maybe it was trying to get lunch with somebody that you hadn't seen in a while, and then something falls through.
Yeah.
And I would say a lot of the times it can't be helped. Like genuinely, they have a good excuse. I know we have talked about different ways to get out of things.
Yeah, I'm guilty of saying, "Oh, I've got something to do." Actually, psych, I'm going to take a nap at the house. I just really didn't want to do that at this point.
Right.
So
I'm going to take cancel plans.
I'm going to also go cancel plans, even though I myself have canceled the plans, and
yeah,
I know that's.
I think we all have.
We're human. We're not perfect. All right, so now we got the Elite Eight. We're not going to talk as much this time. So we got long drive-through versus slow driver. Slow drivers can be avoided. A long drive-through cannot be. That's my only explanation. I'm going long drive-through.
Well, the way to avoid a long drive-through, Jackson, is to just not get in it. Because most of the time, you are going to be able to see, like, ahead of time that it's about. But I will say, just incredibly inefficient restaurants, it can look like a short line. And then you get in it, and it falls through.
They got 3 workers in the kitchen.
Yeah. So I think it's a both and there.
Yeah.
There's a little Chris Lawrence reference there. It could be a both and. Slow drivers, again, at the end of the day, what is your hurry? How much is it really going to speed up your driving? Like your time between leaving point A and getting to point B and being behind a slow driver may be a difference of 2 minutes. Yeah. So really, it's just a patience issue, which we all struggle with. I'm gonna go ahead and take a long drive through here.
Yeah, same here. All right, so I am 5-seated talk dirt movie versus 4-seat spam calls, and you were actually
I've got the 12 and 13.
So
yeah,
you go ahead.
Okay, so I've got the 12 seed banks closed at inconvenience times versus power going out. For me, I think power going out is the winner here, just because it is something that we've all experienced, but we're never really prepared for. There's not a great way to prepare for it. And so when that power goes out, it just feels like a culture shock.
So, again, I've talked about working at the movie theater multiple times. Talking during a movie is one thing that us Cherie employees, we just find so annoying to go tell these people to stop talking, because it seems so simple. Like, not talking during a movie, it's on the screen, first of all. We have posters all around that says, don't film the movie, don't talk, don't blah, blah, blah.
Hey, no feet on the back of chairs.
That's also
That's my biggest one.
I should have put that on there, but that would only be...
Yeah, that's very specific.
That's very specific. But if you Cherie people are listening, I know that you're going to go with me here.
I remember when that rule changed.
Yes.
That was kind of new, probably in the last 5-10 years.
Yeah. You Cherie people, I know you're going to go with me here. I'm going talking during a movie over spam calls. All right, so now I'm late people
This is probably the best matchup all night.
I'm late people versus waiting for the doctor, and you are late people versus...
Know-it-alls.
Know-it-alls. So waiting for the doctor and late people kind of coincide because they're both involve something being pushed back or something not happening on time. Waiting for the doctor, again, those people, thank you for taking care of me.
So they might not be able to help it because they're helping somebody
Exactly.
else. I want to give them a little bit of grace.
Yeah, you got a little bit of the doubt. You're saving lives. I don't know what I need. You know what I need. Thank you for helping me. But late people, there's no excuse. There really isn't. Unless...
Seems like a personal choice.
Unless your car breaks down...
You run out of gas. Or a family emergency.
Those are your excuses. Not, oh, I didn't set my alarm. I didn't set my alarm. Oh, Carson. That fires me up. Someone that forgot to set their alarm, which I've been guilty of before, but I will spend the rest of my day making it up to that person because I felt so bad. And mostly mine is super early in the morning. Like if I forgot to set the alarm for like 5:30 in the morning, that's one of those things that isn't as bad, not as annoying. But when you got something at 2 o'clock and they show up at 2:30, oh my gosh, it just makes me... I'm balling my fist right now if people listen on the podcast.
You need a stress ball?
I do. So obviously I'm going late people.
So I need to share a funny story about late people. I've talked about how much it kind of gets on my nerves, and it seems, it's inconvenient. It seems selfish on so many levels. So one of my really good friends, Paul Miller, I was getting to know him through church, and we had never really been in the same circles, but we were trying to have breakfast one morning at High Burger. I mean, and Paul had to be at work early, so we're talking like a 6:30 breakfast, and typically getting up in the morning is not too difficult for me. I had never really had too many interactions with Paul, but I had heard a lot about him. Well, I set like 6, 7 alarms in the morning. Guys, I pressed stop on every single one of them and did not get out of bed. And so I wake up at 8 a.m. to like a missed call and 2 or 3 texts from Paul. Wondering where I was. And that's how I know how much it annoys me, is when I'm on the other end of it. When I've done it to somebody else, I just felt so bad. And thankfully he called me back later that day and was just like, hey, from what I hear, like you're a pretty stand up guy, and like it seems out of character. I was like, yes, like this is one of my pet peeves, and I just did it to you, so I apologize. So that is my story there for late people, and I'm going to take it over know-it-alls, even though know-it-alls making me feel dumb and making me feel like I'm not a priority to you.
Yeah,
kind of have Battle of the Titans there.
Got a little ick to you.
Yeah. Those are probably my 2 biggest things that rub me the wrong way. But I'm going to take late people here.
So my matchup is losing the remote over canceled plans, and you are bad Wi-Fi over canceled plans. Losing the remote is just, it's a minor inconvenience. That's why it's 10. So you cancel plans is one of those things that will ruin your day. Like, really.
It really does.
It really does. If you, I mean...
Or week. Like, if you banged your week
exactly.
on, like, I am trying to get to the weekend so I can do this thing.
So I can go to this plan, and it gets canceled, and you're just at home thinking... I would much rather be doing this thing.
You know what I'm picturing right now? Like trying to go to a sporting event, and then it gets rained out or something happens.
And it's never happened to me, but I'm sure a lot of people would agree. Maybe like getting stood up for a date, getting canceled on. That's probably such an annoying feeling. So I'm going cancel plans over losing a remote. Yeah,
to me, let's not make this one more difficult than it needs to be. I've got bad Wi-Fi over canceled plans. Bad Wi-Fi is a minor inconvenience. Canceled plans, like we said, could ruin your day or week. So I'm going to take canceled plans here to advance to my Final Four.
My Final Four is long drive-through, talking during a movie, late people, and canceled plans. And Carson, you are?
I've got long drive-through, power going out, late people, and canceled plans.
So long drive-through and talking during a movie, I have reiterated so many times how annoying it is as a movie theater employee when you have to tell people to stop talking during a movie. And, and also as a person who goes and watches movies, it's annoying when someone behind me just doesn't shut up. Either they're so loud, they are talking about the movie while you're watching it, or...
I'm guilty of that.
Or they have already watched the movie and they're talking to the person behind you, hey, this is about to happen.
That's off limits.
That's annoying as crap. So I am taking talking during a movie to the championship round.
That's a great pick there, Jack. I know that's like a personal one for you.
Yeah.
So that one really hits close to home. To me, I think just a long drive-through is going to continue to advance for me. I think they're a powerhouse here just because, it seems like it can be avoided. I am choosing to come to your restaurant. You advertise at your fast food. Everything should be pretty well timed out here, yet I'm having to wait 30 minutes for a meal, and that's just not how we roll. So I'm going to take long drive-thrus to advance to the championship.
So we both have the late people versus canceled plans matchup. This is Battle of the Titans right here. This is a great matchup. But if there's been a topic that we've talked about the most here in the 28 minutes that we have filmed this podcast, it's about late people. So I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Cancel plans is annoying, but late people is going to go to the championship game.
Yeah, I'm not going to get too crazy with it either. Let's take late people to the championship.
So I am talking during the movie versus late people, and you are long drive-through versus late people. And I have a feeling that we're both going to pick the same thing.
This doesn't happen very often. But we seem pretty passionate about it.
But we're both pretty passionate. I'm going late people over talking during the movie. It's just one of those things that really just, it grinds my gears. It just does. And so I'm going late people as the most annoying thing in the world.
The most annoying thing in the world, late people. Because it just gives off the sense that my time is more valuable than your time. What else needs to be said?
Classic. So, attorney time, we both, again, rarely happen where we both pick the same thing. But, again, late people is our biggest pet peeves. And what's funny is that both of our best friends are typically late people. So, They say you love the people that are the most opposite of you.
And I also want the audience to know that we're not hating on you.
Yeah,
If you're a late
love
person,
you.
we understand to an extent why you may be late to something. Doesn't change the way that we view you. Just saying, as a general rule,
it's just a tad annoying.
Late people get on my nerves.
Not a tad. It's very annoying. So again, we mentioned at the start of the episode, we are not talking sports. So we're doing both the segments here on the podcast. We're going turning time.
Yeah, we'll
first,
double feature for the
and
people.
Now we're going starting five, which is the segment that Carson made. And this week is a fun one. We have starting five of the worst things to say to your parents. I know a lot of you just thought of a million things, so I'm going to start us off. My number one thing that
one pick here.
Number one pick that I would never want to say to my parents is, Mom and Dad, I got someone pregnant. Because
get real personal real quick, Jack.
The amount of just worry and stress and every other adjective you could think of that
they don't know whether to be happy for you
okay, we're gonna love the child. Obviously, we're gonna love the child, but the amount of work and the amount of stress, the amount of anxiety that you're gonna have by having a child that's unexpected. It's just one of those things that you would never want to tell your family, and that's why it's the number one pick for me. So you can go ahead and go with your number one pick.
Yeah, so I'm going to not get as personal here. I'm going to go pretty practical, and it seems like a minor one, but if you really think about it, I think it deserves to be up here at the top, the word but. You say but to your parents, especially, I'm picturing like as a kid growing up, Mom and Dad gives me a task to do, and I say but. Oh.
You did, yeah.
No buts about it. That's the quickest way. That was the quickest way for me to get my mouth washed out with soap.
Yep.
Any kind of talk back, any kind of but, because it insinuates that you know more than your parents. And let me tell you, you do not.
You never do. Man, I just got PTSD of Mom putting soap in our mouth.
It's bad.
And shout out to Christy Chapman for punishing us because we never talk. Well, we still talk back a little bit, but it.
I think we've earned that right.
I think we've earned. We're 20
as matured young men.
So
it's gonna snake back around to me.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we're snake draft here tonight, people. So my second pick, again, seems like a little insignificant, but I think the weight of it does hold value here. So things you don't want to say to your parents. Why?
Oh. That's a good one.
Because you're questioning their authority.
You're
give me a Coach Lane. Why?
It's not respectful.
No,
you're not honoring thy father and thy mother.
Because, and what I always heard, because I said so.
Oh,
and that trumped everything.
The Christy Chapman special. Because I
said so. Because what you have to say does not matter in that moment. Most of the time, it is not a suggestion.
It's you're doing this.
This is a demand. This is a direction that I am giving you. And so why even bring up the word why? Because you know that you're going to have to do it.
Well, your top two picks can go together. But why, Mom?
But why?
And you're screwed.
Because you don't see the need in it. They see the need in it. And believe it or not, you're wrong.
You're always wrong. So my second pick is something that I would never want to say to my parents. I know Carson would never want to say to our parents. Mom, Dad, I'm in jail. I'm arrested. I did something that broke the law. Because they have 10 billion questions. What did you do? Why did you do it? Who were you with? Just all these things that are circulating in their brain.
And most of the time, they're going to have to come bail you out.
And they're going to have to come bail you out. And you have lost all trust. You've lost all respect. You've lost all these things that you spent all your life trying to gain from your parents, and it was ruined in one bad decision to where you broke the law, and now you're in a jail cell, and you need their help. So that's my second pick of things you don't.
Hoping it never comes to that, Jack.
Let's hope.
We've never experienced that. We're just saying that sounds like probably not something you want to say to your parents.
Yeah.
So yeah, great pick there, Jack. So you've got two.
My third pick is something that I have experienced actually. Something that you don't want to say to your parents. Mom and Dad, I lied to you. And
how do those words taste coming out of your mouth?
You know, Christy Chapman is going to have a field day listening to this episode. Because my sophomore year of high school, I was the first person in my grade to get my license. And, you know, in Kentucky, you have your learner's permit where you can only have one person in your car.
One non-family member.
One non-family member. And so, not many people follow this rule. And I didn't. This particular Tuesday night, I remember exactly. Tuesday night after a soccer game, I take 3 of my best friends home, and I got home almost at midnight on a school night. And mom and dad are saying, Jackson, where you been? And they're just questioning, how good of a driver is he? And in order for me to get past the, oh, mom and dad, I took 3 people home, my 16-year-old brain was like,
I got lost.
I got lost. Let me lie this way through. And I told them I got lost. I told them I'm a bad driver. I don't know Murray. And they were so disappointed that I was lost that they bought this lie.
It was kind of believable back in the day.
It was believable.
Jackson's not the best with directions.
I'm not. And then...
Nor Jackson, I love the guy. I love Jack here, but he's not one to pay attention to details.
You're right. And so, I thought I could lie my way through it. I was putting on I should have got an Oscar for the way I acted.
Sob story was on.
Oh, it was on. And so, mom and dad bought it, that I was a bad driver, that I got lost. They said, you got to shape it up. We're going driving this weekend. You got to learn Murray. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, they bought it. I can still take my friends out. Fast forward to about 1 a.m. Christy Chapman wakes me up. Jackson, get in your car. We're going to go see where you got lost at. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh. So we get in the car. We drive to one of my friends, Evan Garrison, his house. My mom actually calls Evan asking where Jackson was that night. And I'm texting Evan while she's calling her saying, hey, I need you to bail me out here. Again, just piling on to this awful lie. And so she tells Evan that I'm in trouble because I don't know where I'm going. And we finally get to Evan's house. And then she goes, okay, where'd you go after this? And I get in the driveway of Evan's house. And I said, Mom, I lied. I actually took 3 people home. I thought you guys would be more upset that I broke the law than I don't know. So I tell her that I lied. And Christy Chapman brought the pain when it came to a punishment. No car for a month. No PlayStation for a month. No girl that I was dating at the time. I couldn't see her for a month. No phone.
Even threatened to make you run to basketball practice.
She threatened to make me run to school. She was upset that I lied to her. And so...
One of the few times that I've ever seen Dad try to talk Mom off the ledge on a punishment. Most of the time it was Dad with the punishment and Mom had to kind of come in and ease the pain. Mom was ready to take the punishments to the roof.
She was ready. I think she's ready to kick me out, low key. Like, she did not want anything to do with me. So don't lie to your parents, kids. So that's my third pick of what not to say to your
pretty
parents.
Strong number 3.
Is don't lie. So sorry that took a while. You go ahead with your 2 picks.
Hey, we're all for good storytelling here. For me, the third pick is if you really want to hurt your parents' heart because they love you so much, tell them I can't wait to move out.
Ooh,
I can't wait to get away from you.
That's a stab in the heart.
Because they've spent all this time raising you, they're loving you well. Hope you all come from homes that were treated well and loved well. But telling them that you can't wait to move out is just telling them, like, hey, I don't need you.
That's actually on my list that I had. Okay. I said, can't wait to leave you guys.
Yeah, can't wait to get out of here. And then come around for my 4th pick. But Mom and Dad, everyone else is doing it.
If Johnny jumped out the bridge, would you jump too?
Oh my gosh, the amount of times that I heard the idea of jumping out of the plane or jumping off a bridge, would you do it? Well, I don't know. Never been in that situation before.
And I don't think I will be.
I don't think that's very practical, but I'm not sure how I would react in that situation. And then also what they would love to tell me is, well, I'm not Johnny's mom and dad.
Exactly.
I'm not telling them what to do. I'm telling you what to do.
Because you're mine.
And so you're obeying me because you still live under my household. I don't care what everybody else is doing.
Yep.
So that never went over too well.
Yeah, that's a good pick. So my last 2 picks, my number 4 pick is Mom, Dad, I got expelled from school. Either you got in a fight, you get in trouble nonstop, you are just the worst kid ever. This never happened to me, of course, obviously, but I feel like telling your parents that you got expelled from school it's
not a fun conversation.
It's not a subject matter that I would want to do. Now, in the future, if my son or daughter told me they got expelled from school, I'd be pretty upset. So that's one of those things that I would not want to say to my parents because I know that when I become a parent, I don't want my kids telling me that. So getting expelled from school is my 4th pick, and then
to wrap it up
is Mom, Dad, I got in a car accident and it was all my fault. Whether
that insurance is going up.
The insurance is going up, whether you were on your phone you went past a red light, you turned when someone else was turning. I would understand wanting to tell your parents if it wasn't your fault, but telling your parents, Mom, Dad, I screwed up on the road. It's my fault. I need your help. That's not a conversation that you want to have.
What I'm seeing is a theme of just crushing that trust that you had built.
Exactly. The feeling of disappointing your parents is one of the worst feelings in the world. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Just the idea that you can spend years and years and years building up this trust. And then in one instance, you can just demolish all of it. Yep. And it's all gone. There's not a more crushing thing.
You're right. So that's my 5 picks. Just basically disappointing the parents is what my 5 picks were.
I've got a pretty good sleeper pick here, I think, for number 5. Mom and Dad, you just don't understand. Because more times than not, they've had a lot more life experience than you've had.
It's not a phase, Mom. It's lifestyle.
You just don't understand is telling them that you could never possibly relate to what I'm going through, when more times than not, they've probably experienced a lot of the same things. So they want to help you and they want to understand what you're going through, but you refuse to be vulnerable with them because they just wouldn't understand. They don't want to hear that.
Yeah, a lot of these things is I'm so scared to tell my parents because of the repercussions that are going to happen after.
Exactly.
So that's another thing is when it comes to this list is I'm so scared to tell you guys because I know what you guys are going to respond with. So Ed and Christy Chapman, you guys are great parents.
Love you guys.
We love you guys. We know you're going to listen to this. These are things that we would not want to say to you, and these are probably things that you guys as listeners would not want to say to your parents. So, it's a great episode.
Tell us if we missed anything. I'm sure there's a handful of different excuses that we've missed. So.
Along with annoying things that we might have missed.
Exactly.
So, leave that down in the comment section. Also, leave some different starting 5 or turning time ideas that we could do. It's a fun episode. No sports involved. Really didn't have.
We do have range.
We have range. We're more than just a sports podcast.
The Man2Man podcast can provide for all types of people.
So shout out to Emily Lancaster. You have a full 40-something minute episode to listen to. Not a single thing about sports was mentioned.
I've actually kind of turned her into a podcast.
Oh, really?
A podcaster. She's big into podcasts now. She'll listen to them on her commutes and everything like that.
Same for Melanie. Melanie will listen to the Sadie Robertson podcast, and she will also listen to the Man2Man podcast. And Melanie will listen. Not to dig at Emily, but Melanie will listen all the way through. So shout out Melanie Schiffer. So thank you guys for listening. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving break. Just spend time with your family. This will probably go up on Black Friday. So we will see you guys next week.
Love you guys.